Hi, everybody. So I'm going to do our video for today. Tiffany's busy, and so this will be a little bit shorter. So we've talked about nutrition this week, and we've gone over portion sizes. We talked yesterday about inflammatory foods and which types of foods are going to be better for you. And so today I wanted to talk about um, how do you make your meals a little bit more healthy? How do you make small changes to make a little bit of a difference? And also for eating out, how do you eat out and still try to maintain those healthier habits? I do the cooking in our house, and so I wanted to share some of the things that I do, at least to make our recipes a little bit more healthy. But first, I just want to start off a little bit with my backstory on it. I used to eat pretty unhealthy when I first started working. I'd go out for lunch, almost every other day. Go out and get McDonald's or whatever, something cheap and easy, and ended up gaining quite a bit of weight. I mean, I'm a pretty short person. I'm pretty small. I think my heaviest I got up to like a little over 170 pounds, which, for my small frame, that's a bit of weight. But, and since then I've lost probably about 30 pounds, and most of it is just from changing the way that I eat. And the reason why I changed is as I was, eating more and more unhealthy, um, I noticed a few times where I'd get what felt like almost like a stomach flu, where my stomach was really cramped, almost like a food poisoning type, stomach cramps, just tons of pain, tons of GI symptoms and throwing up, um, and it happened a few times where I thought, well, maybe this is something a little bit different. And so I ended up, getting some tests done and found out that it was my gallbladder that was causing the problem. So your gallbladder is what processes fats. And what was going on is as I was eating, these, fried foods and unhealthy, stuff and all that, my body wasn't able to keep up with it. And my gallbladder was just freaking out. And, that was what was causing all these symptoms. And so I had a couple options. I could have a surgery and have it removed, and potentially still have the same symptoms, so nothing would have changed. Or I could still eat crappy and it wouldn't cause me the symptoms. Or I could just change my diet. And so I decided, rather than having surgery, I'm just going to try to change my diet. And honestly, it's made a world of a difference. I haven't been perfect. If I go back to eating crappy, then I can still feel it and I'll start to act up. But for the most part, I haven't had problems with it in years. Really, it doesn't bother me at all. And so the things that I stay away from right now are too much of anything fried and fatty. So French fries, hamburgers, basically anything that you get at a fast food restaurant. Any of that fast food stuff. If I have a thing of French fries every once in a while, it's not a big deal. It doesn't cause me any problems. But too much of it over a several day period, if I'm having it a couple times, then it would start to cause problems. And so that's what we want to talk about is how do you make just small changes. How do you make things just a little bit more healthy? And and you don't have to be perfect. Like I said, I'm not perfect. I can eat crappy stuff every once in a while, but if you do it too much too often, then that becomes a problem. So one of the things that you can do, Tiffany, if she ever gets a burger at a restaurant, it's always lettuce wrapped. So, forget about the bun, just have it lettuce wrapped. One of the big things is, people think that salads are super healthy and they're a great thing to have at a restaurant, which, they are, but then it's loaded up with, these dressings and croutons and cheese and, all sorts of different toppings and stuff that just make it, even more calories, even more fattening than a regular meal would be. So if you're doing the salad, have them put the dressing on the side and only put a little bit of dressing instead of a lot. Take off the croutons, take off the tortilla strips, or, the cheese and all that kind of stuff. And sure, it doesn't necessarily taste as good without all that stuff, but, as your body adapts and changes, it'll taste fantastic to you, and you don't need all that extra stuff. One of the other things that we'll do is, like Tiffany has said in the past, she'll, still eat out at a restaurant, but the restaurants are more than likely willing to work with you. So if you want a piece of chicken, don't get the fried chicken, get it grilled. And if you ask them, hey, can you grill that in olive oil? Do you have any olive oil you can grill that on? And just put some salt and pepper on it. Most of the time they're willing to do that. And it makes it a lot more healthy. Olive oil is a great oil for cooking with. So most of the restaurants, they'll use a more unhealthy version of an oil. So if you just ask them, use the olive oil, that's a great alternative. Still tastes great, still healthy for you. So you can make that little change right there. At home, as far as recipes goes, one of the things that I do, we don't usually eat a whole lot of beef. We do more of ground turkey, so we'll substitute ground turkey in for ground beef into recipes. Again, with the dressings, really just trying to stay away from all the, anything like the creamy, dressings, any of that kind of topping type stuff. We eat pretty simple. We have no dairy in the house. I don't think dairy is totally evil, but it's not necessarily good for you, especially the ways that the cows are fed, the things that they give to the cows, not great for you. We don't do any dairy in the house. So any of that type of stuff, like the cream cheeses, the sour creams, all that type of stuff is just adding on extra calories and stuff that you don't really need. So we eat pretty simple. It's we'll have, a lot of the times we'll have a grain like rice. You can have quinoa if you toast it and put some seasoning on it. It tastes great. So have a little bit of grain, a lot of vegetables, and a little bit of meat. And, honestly, I feel like that's a great way to eat. You can have a lot of variety. You don't have to have the same, chicken and broccoli every night. So find recipes that are good, that are healthy, that include a variety of vegetables. I'll even make, different soups and stuff where I'll, throw in zucchini and, carrots and celery and kale, or, like just all these different types of vegetables where, you mix all that together, put a few seasonings in it, and it tastes great. And, I use one chicken breast for the whole meal, feeds the whole family. And, so saves a little bit of money, tastes great, and it's healthy for you. So I think that's it. If Tiffany has anything, she can watch this and add on anything extra. But those are the big tips: is just find little ways that you can make incremental changes. So the small changes that you're going to make, today, throughout this next week or two or three, make, a few small changes. Get your body used to that. Your taste buds will change, and then later on you can change a little more and more and more. And so as time goes on, you'll be amazed at how healthy you're eating, how good you feel, and it's not going to be a big drastic diet that you crash and burn at the end of. Okay, hopefully this was helpful for everybody.